A warm welcome to Diski Talk with Luyolo. If you're tuning in for the very first time, I do ask that you please subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you've been a part of this journey, I hope you thoroughly enjoy this episode. So, on today's episode, I discuss all things DSTV Premiership action as I have a look at the fixtures for this upcoming weekend. So, all 16 teams are in action this weekend. The first fixture then is SuperSport United versus TS Galaxy. So coming up into this encounter then, TS Galaxy haven't been doing well underneath their new coach. They've really been struggling and are yet to pick up any points under the tutelage of their new coach. And when you have a look at some of their key players then, they also haven't really been performing very well. So TS Galaxy is really struggling for form. And then when you have a look at SuperSport United, this is a team that started off the season very well. However, in the past couple of weeks, they have been struggling. They haven't been picking up the points as they come up into this encounter. However, looking at this encounter then, I think this is an encounter that SuperSport can actually go on and win by virtue of the fact that they have better quality, they've got better players, and they've got players then who are able to win the match for their side in comparison to the players that TS Galaxy have. I just think that going forward, TS Galaxy will continue to struggle because from a qualitative perspective, they don't have players who can really go out and win games for them. And then moving on then right along, the big fixture of the weekend, it is Kaizer Chiefs versus Orlando Pirates. So coming up into this encounter then, Kaizer Chiefs do come off a loss against Stellenbosch. Pirates come off a win against SEKHUKHUNE United. However, these are two teams then, if we're to thoroughly observe their performances over the past couple of weeks, especially with Orlando Pirates, it hasn't been as convincing by virtue of the fact that they've enjoyed so much ball possession, but it hasn't been convincing in the final third. They've been struggling to penetrate and institute goals within the final third and institute penetrative play within the central zone and those pockets of spaces. With Kaizer Chiefs, they were doing well by virtue of the fact that they had picked up back-to-back wins against Chippa United and SuperSport, where they managed to score 6 goals over those 2 games. But coming up then against Stellenbosch, they did stumble where they lost 1-0. So coming up into this one then, I think that it's a game where I think both teams, both teams will want to get the 3 points by virtue of the fact that it is the Soweto derby, it is the big match. But I just think that they'll nullify each other. And I think for large parts of the game, we are going to see Kaizer Chiefs penned in, defending deep within their own half, looking then to hit Orlando Pirates on the counter. Whereas with Orlando Pirates, they're going to enjoy ball possession and they're really going to really rotate that ball and look to penetrate. But I'm not really convinced when it comes to their final third penetration and when it comes to their cohesive play breaking into that final third. Mabasa up front has also been struggling. He hasn't scored in a couple of games and he just isn't as influential for Orlando Pirates when it comes to his hold-up play. So when it comes to that game, I think it will be a draw and I don't see a winner in that game. And very interesting then going into the Soweto derby. I just feel that both Soweto teams haven't really been playing the best football from a holistic perspective and from a qualitative perspective. So I foresee a draw for that game. And then the next encounter then is Stellenbosch versus Golden Arrows. Coming up into this encounter, Stellenbosch are doing really, really well. Golden Arrows then have, Golden Arrows have played in patches and they've played in spells where they will be good for 30 minutes and then they switch off, or they'll be looking to chase a game and they'll do very well. but they just don't get over the line where they secure the maximum points. So Golden Arrows then is an enterprising team. To a certain degree, they're exciting. They've got very good players. They've got Modi, they've got Dlamini in the heart of midfield, they've got Ndwandwe, they've got Khumalo who can come off the bench up front. You've got Michael Boy Kumede, you've got Knox Mutiza. So they've got so many good players who can actually make an impact and make a difference. However, they just haven't really gelled as of yet, and they haven't found that form and that consistency they had last season. And coming up into this game, I think it's going to be very difficult, especially when you look at how Stellenbosch have been doing. From a tactical perspective, Stellenbosch have been very resolute, they've been very compact, they've been very disciplined, and when it comes to final third penetration, they've been getting the goals as well. And Ashley Dupree is in fine form, as he does have 4 goals and 2 assists. He could have easily had more goals where, he's been able to penetrate the final third. He's hit the post a couple of times. He's had good shots at goal. And then when you look at a player like Mandieta, who is key when it comes to pulling strings and instituting that creative play for Stellenbosch, then it does make it a very interesting encounter and a very difficult encounter then for Golden Arrows. And I think Stellenbosch will have the upper hand, as they do sit on 19 points alongside Mamelodi Sundowns at the top of the DSTV Premiership table. I think then they will collect maximum points, as they are playing at the Donny Craven Stadium at home. So it is a Stellenbosch win for that game. Moving on then right along, we've got Royal AM versus Baroka. So with Royal AM, they are a side then that has been doing well. They've started very well within the DSTV Premiership, and I think they've taken to the league very well, and like a duck to water. They've surprised a lot of teams. Mabena's back in the mix. He is fully fit. So they could then look to institute that front three of Litualo, Mabena, and Potsan that is so tricky, so skillful, and has goals as well. So I just think then coming up into this game, they do have the upper hand. I do foresee Baroka struggling. And so coming up into this game then, I think Royal AM will win this game, especially considering that they're playing at home. I think it'll be a comfortable win for them. So the next encounter then is Swallows versus SEKHUKHUNE United, which should be an interesting battle, which I think will be a midfield battle, by virtue of the fact that when you look at Swallows, who they have in the midfield, when you look at the likes of Mutlo and Magaman coming up against a Lipile in midfield, and a Katsande and a Perusnath, then who looks to join the final, in the final third and looks to join the front three, where he did get a goal against Orlando Pirates. Very interesting encounter then, but coming up into this game, I just think from a midfield perspective, these two teams just might nullify each other. So I do foresee a draw in that encounter. Moving on then right along, we do have Chippa United versus Maritzburg United. Another encounter where you've got two teams that are share a similar game model, but at times Chippa United have looked to play a passing game of football, which they've tried to institute. They've tried to create those chances. At times, it's worked for a spell of maybe 15 to 20 minutes, but it hasn't been as free fluid, and Chippa United have struggled under Gavin Hunt. And then with Maritzburg United, at times they've lacked that synergy, and when you look at Maritzburg United, I think they've got so many good players in Travis Graham, in Kewuti, and Hlongwane and Clausen, and Hlongwane as well, who plays off the wing. So they've got the quality, it's just about then ensuring that they're able to create those chances and win games, and look then to nullify this Chippa United side. And then we've got the last encounter, which is MARUMO Gallants versus Mamelodi Sundowns. Coming up into this encounter then, MARUMO Gallants is also another team within the DSTV Premiership that have been struggling. Mamelodi Sundowns are on a high then. They've won the MTN 8. They're playing beautiful football and they're doing really well. So I think Mamelodi Sundowns will win this game. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is then all the fixtures for this upcoming weekend for the DSTV Premiership. Do tell me at home, which games are you looking most forward to? Which players do you think will stand out? Which teams will win? Which teams will lose? And which teams will have to share the points? Thank you very much for tuning in to yet another special episode of Diski Talk with Luyolo. It is DSTV Premiership Action, signing out.